I'm not saying you deserved a bloody tampon in your hand for pulling someone's string coming out of their coochie, but you deserved a bloody tampon in your hand for pulling a string from someone's bloody coochie. Hey guys, it's Sharon. Welcome back to my channel. It is the end of the month, so you guys already know what this video is. And if you don't, that's totally okay. I'll give you the long story short. So long story short, at the end of the month, I make two videos. My Dirty Secrets videos, which is a series, and my Period Horror Stories videos, which is another series. And this one, as you can tell by the title, this is my Period Horror Stories video. But we're doing a little twist. We're making it themed this time around, and it is your spring break horror stories because, well, it's spring break time. It may not be when you're watching this, but right now in this moment, it is. And if I know one thing about spring break is that spring break is wild. So if you mix spring break vacation and that spring break wildness with your period, it's just a recipe for disaster. So we're going to expose those recipes today. So if you want to see more videos like this, give us a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below. Make sure you follow my Instagram, my Twitter, my TikTok, so you haven't saved my videos. You get a chance to be in them, and you also get to be shout out of the day. And of course, if you would like to watch more of my period horror stories, I have an entire playlist dedicated just for them, and I also have a playlist titled All About Periods. That's every period related video I've ever made. So that's like tips, tricks, hacks, all that good stuff. And of course, if you want to see more, definitely subscribe for more and turn on your post notifications. But all that being said, go grab your snacks, go grab your tea, maybe your spring break essentials, I don't know, sunscreen, tanning spray, a towel, some tampons, and let's get into this. My brother and I used to go to my grandma's for spring break every year and always go to public swims for fun. I had my second period ever and wasn't capable of using a tampon yet and didn't want to tell my grandma, so I wore a pad in the water and it got all soggy and looked like I pooped my bathing suit. So, yeah, that'll happen. Your pads will do that to you. So here's the thing. This person said this is their second period ever. They weren't capable of wearing a tampon. You are capable of wearing a tampon. Heck, if you wanted to, for your first period, you could wear a tampon. Like, there's no rule or time frame when you should start using a tampon. It's really just you start using a tampon. Just know that you are capable, sis. It's not the end of the road or your options. Now, it sucks because a lot of us have had to learn this lesson the hard way. It's not that you can't go into a body of water wearing a pad. It's more like you shouldn't, because pads serve to absorb our period blood. So it's absorbing this liquid. So if you stick a pad in water, it's gonna absorb that liquid. And since it's so much liquid that it's absorbing, it's gonna look like a big fat poopy diaper. So, you know, lesson learned. What's worse though? Bleeding in the pool or pooping yourself? Like, which one would you rather let people think happened to you? That you pooped yourself or that you just had your period in the water? You know what? I think I'd rather bleed a little bit because at least I'm not like a grown ass woman pooping myself. But maybe that's just me. Y'all tell me. I was 11 and I started my period during spring break. My friends and I were painting the beach while sat on the beach. I bled on the sand and then got up and my friends didn't say anything and I walked into the sea to play. After I got back, my friends pretended that my blood was paint and made me paint with it. Later at home, my mom saw my painting and said it smelled weird. We assumed it was just the paint. This is literally like an episode of Criminal Minds. It wasn't period blood, but there was a serial killer that was painting with blood, and just every time I hear something like this, that's like my automatic thought. So you're giving me serial killer vibes, but you know, on the bright side, it wasn't on purpose, right? That being said, what's wrong with your friends? That's kind of gross. Also, how much blood did you leave in the sand that you're able to use it as paint? Unless they like use your blood and mix it with the paint, then I want to know who the heck is the one that sat there and got blood off of the sand and put it into the paint. Which, how do you separate blood from sand? Because it's sand. You know what? Your friends are weird. That's that. How did you find out? That's what I want to know. Did your friends eventually tell you, or like did just the smell of fish start coming from your painting and you're like, yo, hold up, that's so nasty? It was April 1st, aka April Fool's Day. So I thought it would be a great idea to prank my mom that I got my period. I was 13, so my family was expecting it. I rubbed fake blood on my pants and pranked my mom into thinking that I got my period. I told her it was a joke after though. Little did I know, later that evening I actually got my period, and when I told my mom, she didn't believe it. I had to somehow convince her. Y'all know the story of the boy who cried wolf. Well, let me hit you with the new remix. It's the girl who cried, period. And I'm not saying that Mother Nature works in funny ways. Actually, I completely am. That is literally Mother Nature just slapping it in your face and being like, ha, you thought. Now here's your karma and here's your real period. And you know, she's like that. Mother Nature really do be like that all the time. Like, she will hit you at the worst, most ironic, just horrible timing situations ever. Literally me forming a conspiracy against my period, or is it my period forming a conspiracy against me? Maybe next time just don't jinx it. My favorite story is when girls are like, I was watching one of your period videos and then I got my period and I'm like, ooh. Anyways, We were visiting my aunt's family and I was 10 at the time. Nobody was expecting me to get my period anytime soon, but to everyone's surprise, I woke up one day and there was blood covering my underwear. I knew what periods were, but I was terrified of them, so I freaked out. I was screaming at the top of my lungs until my mom and aunt came into the bathroom and helped me calm down. I later found out that while I was screaming in the bathroom, my aunt had guests outside and they decided to leave when they heard me crying about having my first period. There's nothing more special than getting your period for the first time and having a complete and total breakdown and having random people you've never met overhear it. Okay, I'm not making this any better, but yeah, y'all, you can get your period as young as like 8, 9, 10. I've heard 7, which is insane to me. Usually like once you start going through puberty, you get your period while you go through puberty. So yeah, it could happen at young ages like that. My mom got a period at 9. I was like, you a child and you got your period. Granted though, I got mine at 11, so I'm like still a child, but at least I'm a middle school child, you know, not an elementary school child. Anyways, if you hadn't had a mental breakdown after getting your period for the first time, did you get a period? I thought I was dying. At least you knew what a period was, and that's why period education is important. I got my period unexpectedly on vacation. I wanted to go swimming, but I'd never used a tampon before. I decided to try it and I actually put it in right, but I forgot it was in. Ended up in the ER with TSS 2 days later. Fun times. Smiley face. I know there's sarcasm in this. So much sarcasm because that has got to be the worst time ever. So for those of you that don't know, TSS is toxic shock syndrome. It is super rare, but it is still something that is super bad and you do not want to get. It's basically like the bacteria from your tampon builds up and just like, it is not a good mix. This is not to scare you from using tampons or anything, but when you are told on the packaging to wear a tampon for X amount of time, make sure you only wear it for X amount of time. So if they're like, don't wear this for longer than 6 hours, don't. The longer you keep your tampon in, the more at risk you become to getting TSS. Which, yes, can actually hospitalize you. So I'm so sorry, sis. And you know what? I'm not gonna judge you for forgetting your tampon because I too have forgotten that I had a tampon in. And that's just to show that like, you literally put in a tampon and then you put it in right, you forget about it because you don't feel it. You don't remember that it's down there. Y'all, I literally put in a second tampon once. It was bad. At least I noticed. Yeah, so next time if you see like a string hanging from your coochie, just pull it. I bled through at the beach and people thought I got attacked by a shark. I don't want to say people are stupid, but what is more likely? Someone to get their period at the beach or be attacked by a shark? Shark attacks are so rare, y'all. It's, oh my gosh. Look what Jaws did to everyone. Also, it is a complete and total myth that a shark can smell your period blood. Your period blood will not attract a shark, y'all. So don't worry about going to the beach and you're bleeding. No shark is gonna eat you, but they really thought it was a shark. Where's the bite? Did the shark bite my hoo-ha off? Like, why do you think it's a shark bite? I don't, people are a lost cause sometimes. My family and I were going to Florida for spring break. While we were on the plane, I got my period and bled all over the seat. I'm usually not embarrassed of my period. Like if I have an accident, I have an accident, it's whatever. I am terrified of getting my period on a plane, especially a long flight. The reason is because you are stuck on that plane. If you bleed in class and you leave a little blood on your seat, guess what? You could leave, you could change seats, you could get up and wipe it off. When you are on a plane, you have to call the flight attendant, tell them, I'm gonna need a lot of napkins. I had an accident. Then clean the blood on your seat where people all around you, behind, in front, side to side can see, and then have to walk to the one of 2 bathrooms in the plane, walking down an aisle where everyone in the aisle seats can look at your period stain. I'm good. And obviously, not everyone's gonna look at you. I get that. I'm still not taking that risk. So yep, this is one of my biggest fears. Good luck, Charlie. I went to Disney World with my mom and my sister. I didn't notice I had started my period until after we got off a ride. I had bled through my shorts and had to walk around like that for the rest of the day because my mom refused to buy me new pants. Why was my first thought? That Disney pants are so expensive and that's probably why mom didn't buy you new pants and let you walk around like. And you know what? Lesson learned. If you're going to Disney and you might be getting your period or just to be safe, maybe bring a jacket to tie around your waist so you don't have to pay $80 for some Disney sweatpants that you're probably never gonna wear again. That's how Disney gets you. And mom was like, you're not getting me. No, no, no. I had a basketball game over break and was on my period. I forgot to change my pad before the game started, so as I was running down the court, my pad fell out. They called a timeout and everyone thought it was someone from the other team and I let them take the blame. The other team's coach had to pick it up and throw it away. I don't know how the heck a pad just falls off, clean and completely falls out of your shorts. I get a pad falling through gym shorts and basketball shorts because they're looser. What about your underwear? How loose is your underwear that a pad is falling out? Also, is it not sticking? But again, if you wear a pad for a really long time and you're like sweating and moving around, it may become less sticky. So lesson here is change your pads before games. And don't say it was you, because I mean, listen, at the end of the day, what? You take the blame and then everyone knows you as the girl who dropped their pad on the basketball court, or just keep your mouth quiet, let people point fingers, and have the pad be thrown away and taken care of. It's a win-win. It's taken care of and no one knows it was you. I do feel bad for that coach though, who had to go pick up someone's bloody pad and throw it away, but alas, that's why they are the adults and that's why they're there. Well, maybe not there to pick up dirty pads, maybe they're to coach, but like, still. I went ice skating with my friends and got my period a week sooner than I expected. I checked my purse and panicked because I didn't have supplies. I tried to forget about it and just started skating again. Before I knew it, there was a puddle of blood on the ice and I ran it so fast out of there. Oh, absolutely not. I would be screwed. So fun little fact about me, as a born and raised Floridian, your girl cannot ice skate. There is no ice for me to skate on. So if this were to happen to me, for example, I'm just bleeding on the ice, I cannot simply run away or skate away. I would more than likely bust my ass, fall on that ice, and possibly fall into my own period blood. And that is just a show. At least you know how to skate and you can skate away from it, and that's what matters. And you know what? Also, it could be played off that like, oh, I just cut myself with the blades of the skate. Those blades are so scary. But anyways, I was at a water park with the tampon in. I was climbing up the ladder to get onto the diving board and there was a child underneath me in line. I guess my string was kind of sticking out of my bikini bottoms because he reached up and pulled. Let me just say the pain was horrible. He got scared because of the blood and threw it in the pool. The water park was then closed for 7 hours. Listen, I don't feel bad for the little kid at all. Why are you gonna take your disgusting little hands and stick it in a place that it doesn't belong? Like, I'm just saying, if I'm climbing up a ladder to get on this diving board, whatever, there's someone in front of me and I see a string coming from their downstairs area, I'm not gonna pull it. Why? Because it's their downstairs area. It's also not my body to be touching. But alas, kids don't know any rules, any social cues. Kids don't know nothing. So that's why I don't feel bad for this kid. I'm not saying you deserved a bloody tampon in your hand for pulling someone's string coming out of their coochie, but you deserved a bloody tampon in your hand for pulling a string from someone's bloody coochie. What sucks and what I do feel bad for is the fact that they had to close the pool for 7 hours. But granted, it may have been your tampon, but was it really your fault? And that's on that, because the only one at fault here is that child. Maybe if you didn't put your hands where they didn't belong, we could all still be enjoying the water park. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I was over at a friend's house for spring break and her mom was out of town. Long story short, I got my period and bled all over her mattress. Her dad gave me a pad, which was so mortifying. I couldn't look him in the eye again. No, don't be mortified. Dad's a real one. Dad's cool. You know, some dads, some guys really, will always be super weird about periods and tampons and pads and period products, and I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. That's because periods are so taboo, and instead of talking about them and teaching men about them, they're just kind of like grossed out by them because they're not educated on it. So the fact that dad was just like, here's a pad, there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed about or mortified about when it comes to having your period and when it comes to someone helping you about having your period, because like periods are natural, so talking about them and dealing with them should be natural. So shout out dad. He was waiting for that moment his entire life. He's like, oh my god, I got a pad in my pocket right here. I went camping with my friend and her family. When we were in the car on the way there, her little brother got upset because I sat in his red drink. Turns out I got my period, bled all over the seat, and my friend stopped being my friend. So my first thought here is, so why is his little brother gonna be upset at you for sitting in his drink? Because if you were sitting in his drink, that implies that the drink had spilled onto the car seat. So why isn't he upset that his drink was spilled more that you were sitting in his drink? Because like, you can't drink it if I'm sitting on it. It's spilled. It's soaked in the seats. You can't drink that to begin with. But whatever. Little kid logic, you know? The thing that really grinds my gears here is the fact that your friend stopped being your friend. What happens when your friend gets their period? That's fake. And that's just karma. Like, next thing you know, she's gonna get a period accident, incident, whatever, and she deserves it. She's gonna sit in some of her little brother's juice and realize it's her period, and that's just coming back around. Girls that are like disgusted by other girls' periods are so weird to me. Like, you know, we have the same exact problem. right? I was at the fair with my boyfriend, and let me say that day I had the biggest cramps and my app told me I was supposed to get my period, but I ignored it and rode the biggest roller coaster, and then the lava splashed. My boyfriend was disgusted and broke up with me, but he did not know I was pregnant with his brother's baby. You know, I make a lot of videos where I read a lot of your embarrassing stories and your secrets and your confessions, so I get a lot of weird stuff. And with that comes the question, how legit is this stuff? And I bring this up because I know you are lying. And I know you're lying because how are you gonna be pregnant with your boyfriend's brother if you just got your period? You know, when you get your period, that means you're not pregnant, right? And can you get a period when you're pregnant? No, that's just vaginal bleeding. There's a difference because I've looked it up because I saw stories about women having their period and still giving birth, and it's just vaginal bleeding. It's very different from having like a literal period. So that being said, sis, how could you lie to us? How could you do that to us? Now, I don't know if you had an accident at the fair or not, or I don't know if you're lying about the period and that you actually hooked up with your boyfriend's brother instead. We don't know what the truth is, and you've been caught red-handed, pun intended. Thank you very much. Now, if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below whoever lied. I want you to step forward right now. Anyways, if I didn't expose your period horror story relating to spring break, definitely make sure to leave that in the comments below. Also, if you have a request for another type of period horror stories video you want to see from me, definitely let me know. I've seen a sports request, but if there is another or one in particular you guys want to see, let me know. Shout out of the day goes to Josephine on Instagram. Thank you so much. If you'd like to be shout out of the day, just follow me on my Instagram and stay active. Now, like I mentioned, this is a series I upload every single month, usually at the end of the month, so if you'd like to binge more episodes, you can go check out my period horror stories playlist and also my all about periods playlist, where it's every single period related video I've ever made, including how to put in a tampon, if you want to go check that out. But if you would like to see more videos, definitely subscribe and turn on your post notifications, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Don't lie to me again. Thank you.